Welcome to Diplomatic Channel this week. I am Amarachi Ubani. We have a very eventful week ahead of us. The 24th edition of the World Economic Forum holds for the first time in West Africa, and Nigeria is the venue. WEFA presents an opportunity for Nigeria to show to the rest of the world that it is a fertile ground for global investments and will deepen the dialogue on economic reforms between the international and Nigerian private sector, as well as international and domestic investors. It will also focus on creating jobs.
The forum is to identify the right conversations that our stakeholders wish to have, and then bring together different people that we feel will be important for progress to be made in that respect.
Other editions of the World Economic Forum in Africa have held in South Africa, except on 5 occasions, when it held in Zimbabwe in 1997, in Namibia in 1998, in Mozambique in 2004, Tanzania in 2010, and Ethiopia in 2012.
There's a direct economic gain for the Federal Capital Territory. All the hotels in Abuja are occupied. Abuja has said it wants to be a center for conferencing and tourism. If we can pull this off and convince the international community of our capability of hosting this kind of big event, they will come back.
Now, as expected, in light of the recent attacks on the country, the blast in the area of Abuja 3 weeks ago, the Chibok abductions, and the second blast last week, the issue of security threatens to steal the spotlight of the WEFA meetings. But the Nigerian police has ordered a massive security cordon around the Federal Capital Territory and its environs. Even President Goodluck Jonathan is confident that nothing will disrupt the World Economic Forum for Africa this week.
There are security personnel, both the armed forces, that is Army, Air Force, and to some extent Navy, if coastal issues are involved, the police, the SSS, and other agencies like the civil defense and others. They are capable. Yes, we need to recruit more. As a memo I just tweeted last night about the request to recruit more soldiers and train them properly.
Meanwhile, attention is growing on the abduction of over 200 girls from the government's secondary school in Chibok, Borno State. You've seen the protests here in Nigeria. Women groups mainly urging the government to do more to bring the girls back home, some promising to continue protests every day until the girls return. Beyond our shores, the Canadian government has condemned the kidnap of the girls as well as other terrorist acts committed against unarmed civilians by the militant sector. Describes their activities as absolutely repugnant and will never be tolerated. While the concern for the abducted girls continues to grow, they've promised to continue to closely monitor the situation and work with the Nigerian government to combat terrorism and secure the welfare of her children and youth. Boko Haram is listed as a terrorist organization in Canada, and those comments were closely followed by that of U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry.
Let me be clear. The kidnapping of hundreds of children by Boko Haram is an unconscionable crime, and we will do everything possible to support the Nigerian government to return these young women to their homes and to hold the perpetrators to justice.
Well, coming up after the break is our first interview with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Alhaji Aminu Wali, to join us again.
Fun, inspiration, and knowledge. That's what you get from readers, writers, publishers, and the entire book world. Get some interesting reviews, events, interviews, and latest updates from the book world. The channel's book club, inspiring you one page at a time.
To other diplomatic stories, Queen Elizabeth II was a year older last week, and the British Deputy High Commission in Lagos took the time to celebrate. Invited guests include members of the diplomatic corps, the business community, friends of Britain, and the Nigerian media. The evening event was held at the residence of the Deputy High Commissioner in Lagos, Mr. Peter Carter, who welcomed everyone and made a brief speech about Nigeria-Britain relations.
whether you're here from the business community, with whom we try to do a huge amount of trade and investment work, whether you work with our visa people, getting Nigerians to the United Kingdom and making sure that they're properly documented, whether you're working with our organised crime experts on counter fraud, counter terrorism, corruption issues, people trafficking issues, drug trafficking issues. We also have representatives from Nigeria's vibrant arts and cultural scene. We have educationalists. We have experts in the field of development. We have friends and colleagues who represent our political contacts, both here in Lagos and more widely across the southern states of Nigeria. And collectively, you are responsible for helping us to do our job in the British Deputy High Commission to the very best of our ability. And the Queen's birthday, the Queen's birthday party, more than anything else, is an opportunity for us in the British Deputy High Commission to thank each and every one of you for your cooperation with us, for your work in helping us to build, sustain and develop relations between Nigeria and the United Kingdom.
The Queen celebrates 2 birthdays each year, but her birthday is actually on April 21st and her official birthday on a Saturday in June. She usually spends her actual birthday privately, but the occasion is marked publicly by gun salutes in central London at midday, a 41-gun salute in Hyde Park, a 21-gun salute in Windsor Great Park, and a 62-gun salute at the Tower of London. Elsewhere, South Sudanese troops have encountered great difficulty in trying to recapture the oil town of Bentiu from rebels. After an offensive launched on Sunday, the rebels forced the troops back using heavy gunfire. It seems now that only one side of the town has been taken over by the troops, but it is unclear which. The fighting comes after U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry on Friday said he had secured an agreement from President Salva Kiir and Mr. Riek Machar for peace talks to be held in the Ethiopian capital, Addis Ababa. Over in Europe, 2 boats carrying migrants have capsized in the Aegean Sea. The 2 vessels sunk about 4 nautical miles off the Greek island of Samos, close to the Turkish coast. It is not clear where the migrants were coming from or the circumstances surrounding the incident. In the meantime, Coast Guard vessels, fishing boats, 2 search and rescue helicopters and a cruise liner have been helping in the search for survivors.
Welcome back. For the month of April, Nigeria has presided over meetings at the UN Security